What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamer Dad channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So those of you who are Division fans, who are Division agents, who are still playing the Division, shout out to all of you. I've taken a really long hiatus and it's been really fun. This year has been really tough, really solid year overall, but the workload has been quite tasking on me, but this has been a fun opportunity to be able to take some time off. So you haven't been seeing as many videos, obviously on this channel, and that's by design. But something happened that really basically drew me or dragged my zombie body away from my little fun vacation or hiatus, and it was a Division mobile game. Now, this Division mobile game is called Division Resurgence. I'm sure all of you, by now, if you've been paying any attention, you've probably heard about this game. And I thought, man, I got to talk about this because this is really interesting. Now, my opinion and my mind on the Division franchise is still the same. It's not like I was shocked that we got a mobile game. I mean, for crying out loud, they showed us the roadmap a few years ago that a mobile game was going to be coming. So this is no surprise to anybody. Plus, them making a mobile game is not inherently a bad thing because I look at a mobile game from a developer perspective these days, no longer from my former perspective where I just had the side of gaming. If you want to make a mobile game, you get a game engine and then you get an API or something that can package your game into the format of these mobile platforms like Android and Apple. In fact, it's so simple for like an engine like Unreal Engine. All you go is just click File, click Package Project, and select the platform that you want. And voila, you can literally package your game if it has the requirements and the optimization into a mobile game. Now, how well it's going to run and all that, those are things you have to sort out before you package the game. But a mobile game is not inherently, in quote, a mobile game. It's just a game that has been adapted for mobile devices. So that's a very interesting technical issue that must be addressed, especially when I'm talking about it, because that's just for my own satisfaction. So you can do whatever you want with that, because I know somebody's going to say something along the lines of something different, but I'm just putting that out there that I've tried my best not to be an ignoramus about this process. So inherently, what is this leading towards? Now, this is a very interesting aspect in my own opinion. It appears to me that the developers are very serious about this, their seasonalities with the new seasons and the new manhunts that are coming. In fact, there's been a lot of buzz around the, the season finales and the manhunt targets and all that and how good it's been. I haven't played it much, and so I don't really know. And I haven't really watched any spoilers just to keep my Kamikaze Von Doom. I watched your video for a bit, and you kind of almost spoiled it, but I backed out. But it's really interesting to see people really excited about that. And that's actually pretty good. And I think the developers have specifically done this because there is a foundational piece that they have to set for something that I strongly believe that they want to bring to the community. And that is whatever their future plan is, something that is after Tom Clancy's The Division 2, still in the universe that they've been dealing with. And I strongly believe that it's probably another Division game of some kind that's going to be curated by Massive. Now, I don't necessarily know what the big picture is. This is my biggest frustration with all of this, though. And it's not necessarily Massive's fault. It's just my limited knowledge of how this big picture is going to come in full circle. I think whoever is planning this stuff, I think the producers, I think the creative directors and all, they already know what's going on. But we all know Massive keeps their cards very close to their chest. They do not reveal anything when it's not ready to be revealed. In fact, this is Ubisoft as a whole. Every studio adheres to stuff like that very strictly. And so that's, I think, where the, in my opinion, what the rub is, because for many with the Division 2, many people, even though they're fans, they love the franchise, they're currently not playing. And in their minds, they're like, whenever something tangible shows up, I'm down for it, or I'll be happy to take a look at. But I believe that the developers can probably leverage the excitement that they have in the community right now for some positive momentum to be able to, in a sense, maybe hint some of what's going to be coming past, say, the seasons. Now, I get it. They already mentioned, and they were clear. They said, we're not going to be talking about anything other than the next set of manhunts and the next seasons that we're dealing with. And I think that's actually a very wise strategy, but I think it's only for a specific time period. And I say this because Massive is at the cusp of releasing another big, huge AAA title, which is Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. And so again, with Avatar still in the works, I think the Division has to play its role of not overshadowing Avatar in its own, marketing by overplaying some things that may or may not be happening, but let Avatar receive its own full attention. And I'm going to be playing Avatar. For those of you who don't know, I'm looking forward to that game. I hear Division players all the time saying, I don't want to play Avatar. I'm like, guys, Avatar is being developed by the creative director that made your favorite Division 1 game that you won't let me hear anything else about. So I'm really shocked that, I'm going to make a whole video about that later on. But this is something that I strongly believe that the developers have to keep in mind as a target, because it really does work out for the community as a whole, because it's interesting. It's actually quite interesting to see the reaction so far, though, with the Division game. A lot of the mobile game, the Division Resurgence, a lot of people are really interested in it. And the PvP community is really interested in this, because I think this was probably the dream of the Division as a whole. And let me explain. You see, when Tom Clancy's The Division was first revealed, it was this reveal trailer that was actually, a gameplay trailer thing that was actually done at the police, station. That one of those first missions that you do in Brooklyn, or I think right before you leave Brooklyn or something like that. And as these, it was kind of like this scripted, team gameplay thing going on. Somebody in their group hopped in and they had a drone with them. They were controlling a drone from somewhere that they actually had hopped in. I think that this Division Resurgence game probably opens the door for the full realization of the original dream for what Tom Clancy's The Division should have been. So yes, even though some in the community may be salty about it, you really have to look very closely at the big picture. And when I say the big picture, you might say, well, they already gave us the roadmap, but take a second look at this roadmap and see if the full picture is complete. Now, to ease your anxieties, I'm going to go ahead and put a picture of this roadmap, and even from looking at the diagram, it is somewhat designed as a modular diagram, but you can already tell that something seems to be missing and off in a strange way. Now, if you look at the top, you have August, which is supposed to be Season 10. You look at December, which is supposedly Season 11. And then you see the Division Heartland's close test, which is designed for June. And then you see the Division mobile game announcement designated for July. Now, what about September, October, November, December? There doesn't seem to be anything, but it doesn't even indicate to any of us that there's an end to any of this stuff. And they even put a disclaimer and a caveat here saying dates subject to change. But I think they still have more to come, because the way the diagram is designed is like a puzzle that leaves pieces that are still missing, in my opinion. I mean, look at it. It's just this huge chunk of blank space that could be used to announce something in the Division universe. Another thing that you have to also pay attention to is the way that this diagram kind of popped out. And I remember when they first put out this roadmap, the entire community was flailing with all kinds of upsettingness, like, oh, they killed Fei Lao. Oh my, I was like, guys, as much as you all love Fei Lao, like, so what are we gonna do about it? They killed her, okay, whatever. But what are they gonna do next about it? I think that's basically how my mind works, and I understand some people will give me a hard time and say, GD, you're always looking at the future. You're never wanting to pay attention to what's going on now. I'm sorry, it's just the way my mind works. But I was always looking towards what this team and community was wanting to do with this universe. And they already went ahead and coined it the Division universe. So already they came out very slightly and seem to have been laying or building some kind of a house, while people are looking at maybe one room like the Division Heartland. The devs were building an entire mansion and calling it the Division universe. And it seems like they have a lot of plans for this franchise going onwards. Now, for those who may have abandoned the franchise, I don't know what your thoughts are, but it doesn't really matter in my opinion. I feel like what's going to be happening with this franchise going onward is, because you're seeing this huge gap in November, December, I think Avatar is going to fill into that slot based on Massive's timeline, because that's when the game is designed and actually scheduled to release. After that game has received all of that wonderful attention, we're going to be hearing a little bit more about the Division universe. The Star Wars game doesn't seem to have, in my opinion, right now, any reason for them to be talking about it. So right now within Massive, we only know about 3 games that are being developed. Or, well, let me say that. We only know about 2 games that are being developed. We are, making hypotheses or making assumptions that there's a 3rd game in the Division universe that's being developed. This is my assumption, and I'm sure it's the assumption of most of our, community members. And the reason we make that assumption, or the reasons, are many. In fact, one of them being the fact that there's an entire production team. They're hiring community managers. There's still a creative director who has worked on 2 Division games, still with the title of creative director, Tom Clancy's The Division 2, and is still earning a living from Massive with that title. In my mind, I think there's definitely something that's coming up. What's even better is if you even look at and add the job listings that they put for a game designer, it speaks a lot. The game designer, or one of the lead game designers that worked on the Division 2, I don't know if they're still working on the Division or if they've moved on to Star Wars, because a lot of people got taken to Star Wars, just like a lot of people got taken to the Avatar project. It might be they're trying to get some people to just kind of slot them into this project so that they can continue to push the groundwork while team number 2 or 3 or whatever is working with Julian to make their Star Wars game. So the Division Resurgence, the mobile game, is actually bigger than you think. And many may not necessarily agree with this, or I don't know if you agree or not. Doesn't matter to me. It's obvious that they are basically laying out the clues as much as they possibly can for this universe. And it will be very interesting to pay a lot of attention to it. Now, I know, like I said, my only qualms is that they're not revealing their cards in a way that I would like, and they're probably delaying things, and it's probably spelling something that I need to look into further, or maybe reinterpret my earlier assumptions. I used to think they were probably going to drop a Division 3, but it seems to me like a reboot with a universal type theme that is all Tom Clancy based is probably what's going to be coming very soon, and we're going to see it. In fact, they removed the name Tom Clancy's X-Defiant. They removed Tom Clancy from the X-Defiant name. I think this was a very interesting change and a switch, because I think the Division wants to now keep its universe. And I think Ubisoft's going to go with the Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon universe as well, with its other things, Assassin's Creed universe. And I don't know who's at the helm of this, but if they have something really good, it will probably spell a lot of interesting, fun things for the communities who are involved in these games or who enjoy these games. But let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Hopefully we'll talk soon. We'll probably talk next week. We'll probably talk next 2 weeks. But I will keep an eye on what's going on with the Division. And I really appreciate you guys for hanging in there. And for those of you who are in the clan, the LCN clan, shout out to you. Very soon, I'll probably bring myself back and play a little bit of Division. But for now, I really need that mental relief. Talk to y'all soon. Peace out.